Most people believe that finding water in the wild just requires boiling it to make it safe. But that is actually a dangerous myth. Imagine yourself deep within the wilderness, setting up camp beside a pristine-looking stream, the sun dipping below the tree line in a brilliant display. You build a small, crackling fire, then confidently place your trusty metal pot, filled with clear stream water, directly over the dancing, orange flames. This common scene, often depicted in countless survival movies and outdoor manuals, suggests that simply bringing water to a vigorous boil is the foolproof solution. However, this widely accepted advice, while partially true for eliminating certain biological threats, unfortunately overlooks a crucial and often deadly distinction. Water actually contains two fundamentally different categories of unseen enemies: the very much alive biological pathogens and the insidious, often invisible chemical contaminants. Each category requires entirely different, specialized approaches for their effective neutralization and removal from your drinking supply, a fact that is often dangerously ignored. Now, let us delve deeper into understanding those microscopic biological pathogens, which are essentially tiny living organisms that can cause severe illness if ingested. These invaders include various types of viruses, harmful bacteria, and resilient protozoa, all eagerly waiting to wreak havoc on your unsuspecting digestive system with speed. Picture these biological threats as minuscule, menacing monsters, each with its own unique shape and insidious method of attack, silently swimming around in that water. They are completely invisible to your naked eye, but pose a very real and immediate danger to your health and overall well-being in the wild. When you apply intense heat to this contaminated water, the elevated temperature works by effectively denaturing the vital proteins within these tiny, simple organisms. This process unravels their complex, three-dimensional structures in a way quite similar to how a clear egg white transforms into a solid, opaque mass. As the water reaches its critical boiling point of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, or 100 degrees Celsius, these little biological invaders literally begin to uncurl. Their essential internal machinery breaks down completely, rendering them utterly harmless and completely incapable of causing any further infection inside your body, effectively neutralizing their threat. Boiling water is indeed remarkably effective against these biological threats, providing a highly reliable method for eliminating the vast majority of living microorganisms present. Scientific studies and extensive field research consistently demonstrate that maintaining a vigorous rolling boil for just 1 single minute is more than sufficient. This simple action is enough to effectively kill an astounding 99.9% of all living things present in that water source. This includes those dangerous viruses, harmful bacteria, and resilient protozoa, making it biologically safe to consume without fear of any immediate infectious disease. While the thought of drinking a soup of dead bacteria bodies might sound unappetizing, it is perfectly safe for your digestive system to process. Your body is remarkably adept at handling such harmless organic debris, so the primary danger from these biological entities is completely neutralized by sustained heat. However, despite its undeniable power and proven effectiveness against living microorganisms, the utility of boiling reaches a very distinct and critical limitation. This limitation becomes clear when we consider the other major category of waterborne threats, which are the pervasive and often insidious chemical contaminants. These invisible pollutants, unlike their biological counterparts, are not living organisms with proteins that can be denatured by heat, meaning they remain completely unaffected. They are fundamentally different from biological threats and require entirely different methods of removal that heat simply cannot provide to make the water truly safe. While heat is fantastic for killing living things like bacteria, it does absolutely nothing to remove the invisible inorganic threats lurking in that water. Many seemingly pristine natural water sources are unfortunately contaminated by various human activities, introducing dangerous chemicals into the surrounding environment. Agricultural runoff, laden with powerful fertilizers and pesticides, frequently contaminates these natural water sources as it seeps from farm fields into nearby rivers. Industrial factories, often strategically positioned along waterways, can discharge a complex cocktail of harmful chemicals directly into our shared aquatic ecosystems. Furthermore, abandoned mining operations significantly contribute to this problem, releasing heavy metals and other toxic substances from exposed rock formations into the water. These insidious pollutants, which you could imagine as a symbolic colored sludge, silently flow through our water systems, posing a serious and often overlooked danger. This unseen contamination transforms a life-giving resource into a potential long-term hazard that requires more than just a simple boil to render it safe. When you attempt to purify this contaminated water by boiling, a fundamental physical process actually begins to unfold within your cooking vessel. As the water heats up, it gradually transforms into steam, escaping into the atmosphere and causing the overall liquid volume to steadily decrease. Crucially, dangerous chemical contaminants, unlike the simple water molecules, possess much higher boiling points and therefore do not evaporate with the rising steam. Consequently, as pure water leaves the pot in the form of vapor, these non-volatile chemical substances remain behind in the liquid. This process makes them increasingly concentrated and ultimately renders the remaining water far more toxic than when you first collected it from the source. The very act you believe is making the water safer is, in a chemical sense, making the threat more potent and far more immediate. The health effects from consuming chemically contaminated water differ significantly from those caused by biological pathogens, demanding entirely distinct approaches to personal safety. Biological threats, such as common bacteria and viruses, typically cause immediate and acute symptoms like severe vomiting, debilitating diarrhea, or intense stomach cramps. However, chemical threats operate much more insidiously, often causing no immediate symptoms but instead inflicting long-term, cumulative damage to vital internal organs. This highlights the profound difference between simply getting sick from a biological agent and facing the devastating consequences of chronic organ damage from chemical ingestion. The comparison is stark, representing the critical difference between feeling ill for a few days and facing a life-altering diagnosis like permanent kidney failure or severe liver problems. Effectively removing chemical contaminants from water requires methods beyond simple boiling, focusing instead on physical separation or advanced purification techniques. A highly effective solution involves using a robust filtration system, particularly one incorporating activated carbon, which excels at absorbing various chemical pollutants. Another incredibly reliable method is distillation, where water is boiled and the resulting steam is collected and condensed, leaving all non-volatile chemical impurities behind. These advanced methods ensure that harmful chemicals are physically separated from the water, providing a truly safe and potable source for your consumption. Investing in the proper tools and knowledge is therefore not just a matter of convenience, but a critical component of genuine survival preparedness. Understanding the difference between biological and chemical threats is the only way to ensure your water is truly safe to drink in a survival situation.